go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
I got to turn this down now.
Playing around with a bad football team, bad things happen. Ah! The con!
Welcome to Minneapolis. The Golden Gophers football team dominates the real estate today, 9 to noon. It's Paul Allen, mad producer, and engineer extraordinaire Jared Wells by my side. Eric, what have you and Paul Rovnak arranged for us today via the Timber Tech set list? Because it looks pretty good, and good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you.
You too.
Looking terrific. The whale watching expedition was second to none, as you would say.
Did I send you the video?
You did send me the video.
Of the orca 5 feet off the water?
5 feet away from you.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. Today's going to be awesome here. Internal Media Day, a ton of things going on. And thanks to TimberTech, timbertech.com, we get the heavy hitters today. I'm really pumped about this because after we talk to our first guest, Drake Lindsey, Gophers quarterback, is going to join us around 9:15. We're going to get to hear from the head coach before he talks and takes the slings and arrows of the media around 9:45. Scarlet Pride in the house, Mankato's own Jalen Smith, Gophers wide receiver at 11, and then one of the heavy hitters on defense. Talk about Anthony Smith. So it's the Smiths during the final stretch here, right here at Gibson-Nagurski on the campus of the University of Minnesota. And Rovnak's taking care of us. We got water, we got a table, we got Jared, and we have
Ryan Burns from Gopher Illustrated at Ryan Burns MN. In the business, we call him Bo Huntin' Burnsy. What's going on, brother?
Well, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you.
You look refreshed. You look ready to go.
I'm getting there.
I mean, look,
I'm getting there.
We got fall camp right around the corner for both you and I and our favorite teams. You look like the whale watching did a bunch of good for you.
There was more than whale watching.
Well, look, I don't want to make assumptions.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you look like a refreshed man to me.
I mean, we can go through the highs and the lows of Ketchikan, Icy Strait, Sitka, and
the King's Cut,
Victoria in Alberta, which is
this sounds
fantastic.
like an Alaskan Princess Cruise to me, which is one I did just a couple of years ago.
Actually, it was a smaller line called Oceana.
Okay.
So it had about 1,100 people, and the hope was to not get bit, as Nordo and I would say, with all the handshaking and being in close quarters with people, but
coughing on each other and the whole thing.
Yeah, enough of that. What's significant about today from your standpoint covering the team? And good morning.
Well, good morning. And it's the unofficial kickoff. We're now 43 days away until this team kicks off against Eastern Illinois, and then on week
45-point favorites?
45-point favorites, yeah, but then we get into the meat grinder, which is going to be an SEC team traveling up to Dinkytown for the first time in our lifetimes. When Mississippi State comes to town, I'm not going to be here to tell you they're a world beater, at least preseason expectation-wise, but you get to find out a lot of things about this team that I think should have some expectations to it.
Let me ask you a weird question before PJ Fleck joins within the next hour. So, like Anthony Smith. All right, he's a Pennsylvania native. He's played all of his years here. Clearly has some first-round NFL draft pick status to him. That's fair, right? First, second round.
The hope would be after this season, the feedback consistently from the NFL is he's going to be a top 45 overall selection.
There we go. Okay, well, the point being is when you have 12.5 sacks and 17.5 tackles for loss for the University of Minnesota, and this is not to in any way denigrate this program here, but, there are traditional blue blood powers who would like to have somebody who's 6'6" with 12.5 sacks and 17.5 tackles for loss. When it comes to the portal or when it comes to agents working with other agents, when you have a junior season like he had, is it within the rules for like people to seek him, saying, "All right, you got 1 year left.
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you come to Ohio State? You got 1 year left. Why don't you come to, let's say, Clemson or wherever?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it within the rules? I think that's something they're trying to figure out here via what is legal, what is not. There's a lot of gray area. I would tell you, rule-wise, legally, no, that is not a thing.
Got it.
But it's all back source behind the scenes. And was Anthony Smith, and I'm sure he can give you some more insight to it, was he talked to behind the scenes? Absolutely he was. I mean, he's been talked to for a long time because when you look the way he looks and then you have the on-field production that he's had, he could go play anywhere in the country. And if he has another season like he did last fall, he's going to end his Gopher career as the all-time leader in sacks and tackles for loss here. And there's been some very talented players here. So when you look at the way it goes through the process now, so much of this is just agents and just kind of talking to the players saying, do you want me to listen? Do you not want me to? And so back during December, before the portal opened, it's called pre-portaling is what happens so much across college football now. And
Pre-portal?
Yeah.
It's agents backsourcing everything behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Trust me.
With my prostate situation, there's been a lot of pre-portaling over the last week and a half.
I mean, that's almost preposterous as the legal tampering period in the NFL. My goodness.
I picked a good time for that prostate joke, right?
Yes, you did. What an incredible timing.
Three lady athletes walking right by us. I'm talking about my prostate. Welcome back, Paul.
What are you looking to get out of this today? You mentioning you have it on your clock, you have it on your phone. It's a countdown to when things start counting. But is this, as much as it is for 9 to noon to meet some of these guys today, is this an opportunity for you to do the same as they follow from station to station to station to photos to microphones and on with their day? What are you getting out of this?
Well, you're also trying to see first impressions of how much bigger and how much, who's gained weight, who looks bigger, stronger, faster. Again, you're trying to get a feel for it because I haven't been able to see a lot of these guys since spring ball, which was about 4 months ago. So you're going to see a lot of them over the next few weeks, whether it's between today, whether next week in Big Ten Media Days in Chicago, then you have fall camp in a few weeks, but it's also trying to figure out, there's a lot of transfers, and you're going to hear Fleck talk about it. They got something like 35, 40 newcomers on this team. Well, you're trying to figure out who's going to be the guy to fill in for Coy Parrish, who's going to be the guy to step up at wide receiver. Now, I've got my own inclinations, but these are the guys where you're in the meat grinder that is summer workouts right now still. You're going to start to taper off here very soon. But learning from these guys, who are the names that we should be focusing on heading into August?
Well, with the portal players who have come in, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I don't necessarily know how it goes yearly, but locally it looks like it was more upgrading than filling needs. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, this Naquan Crowder, I believe, another
You
guy.
are an elite Gopher football mind. Many people say that about you, Paul.
Well, I mean, when you read up with what he's done, how they got him, and the position he plays with the likes of Jackson Howard and Anthony Smith and so on that defensive line, it seems like that you go into the portal looking to upgrade all the time, but sometimes you go into it to fill needs. It looks like that there were a fair amount of upgrades potentially. Would you agree?
Well, that's going to be the hope, is especially at a spot like defensive tackle for them, where you're losing your top 4 guys from last year. They all graduated. One's now an NFL draft pick in Devin Eastern from Shakopee with the Seattle Seahawks. But you're trying to find out what can you get. And then so much of this, too, is, Coy Parrish is no longer here, but it's how did you allocate the money that you were going to give Coy, who would have been a top 5 paid player on this team, to use that money to fill other defensive needs elsewhere, where you can go out and get a TJ Bush from Cal, who is one of the most productive pass rushers no matter where he's been in college football. Go get a young kid by the name of Aiden West from Michigan State, who as a true freshman played 400 snaps for a former Gopher defensive coordinator in Joe Rossi. Can the sum of the parts really try to come together? And then someone like Naquan Crowder, where somebody's got to play defensive tackle. Yeah. And just like in the NFL, in what you find in free agency, is everybody needs a defensive tackle, and those guys are highly paid. Well, it's the same thing in the portal. If you want a competent defensive tackle in the portal, you're going to have to pay up. So Minnesota's elected to pay up for a couple guys, and Naquan Carter's a part of them.
Well, to PA's point, though, talking about it looks like for the most part this staff did a terrific job upgrading. Mm-hmm. You yourself mentioned earlier in the conversation that this is a squad that, things got to go the right way, but they should have some expectations around them. What is leading you to that diagnosis?
You need to be able to have, and I like to use it in terms of food, like if you're a chef, you need to have the ingredients to be able to make good food. Well, you look at what some of the pieces of this roster are, is you've got the dominant pass rusher in Anthony Smith. Mm-hmm. You have a quarterback in Drake Lindsey behind me here who is coming off a season where games 1 through 13, he got better. It was 60+% completion percentage, 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. And you even look at, say, what some of your favorite NFL draft minds, such as, say, Nate Tice, are saying about him, where there's some expectations from the NFL for him already. If you have the quarterback position specifically, it's something that you can pencil in and you're going to get consistent play from. Yeah. And then you've got a running back like Darius Taylor, where if he stays healthy, again, he's an NFL guy. You have some NFL picks on this team where you have senior-laden talent. You look at what you have in returning production. They're top 10 in college football in returning production. Now, I'm well aware that Vegas says they're at 5.5, 6.5, depending upon where you want to get the juice, but you at least have to have the pieces in the most difficult piece, and it's been this way for 60, 70 years here at the University of Minnesota, is quarterback. And now you've got a guy that you believe in, and now we got to see what 14 through 26 in terms of game starts look like for Drake, and if he continues to progress with the people around him, you can see them potentially pulling off an upset or two.
Bo Hunter, last one. Ryan Burns, at Ryan Burns MM. And with Gopher Illustrated, I saw it via Twitter. You have a lot going on up to when things start to get a little hotter up to that first game, including, of late, an offensive line preview. And you can learn about all this and subscribe to Gopher Illustrated by starting at Ryan Burns MM. Offensive line preview, obviously it's key. What's the read?
They need to be much better, and I've stolen this term from you, is the Minnesota Moving Company.
I stole it from Abbott 20 years ago.
And we look at it where it just was not consistent enough. The three of us would agree, if you can't run into an even box, I don't care if it's Pee-wee to college to the NFL, this thing's going to go pear-shaped very, very quickly. Now, you've got guys like, say, Greg Johnson, who's a fourth-year returning guy, someone who the NFL DraftNet community has as potentially a day 2 pick. You've got returners on the left side. You've got your first returning center for the first time in 4 years. It's, can they put it all together? Can you get consistency from a unit that has lacked it immensely over the last 2 seasons? You've got all guys that I would say are very close to, if not legal drinking age, which is where you need to be as a Big Ten offensive line. Now it's just time to go out and produce. Now it's time to go out and do it. But it's about generating more knockback and more consistency, and that is going to be arguably the biggest thing I watch for when I'm at these fall camp practices.
If people want to sign up for Gopher Illustrated, what's the easiest route?
Put it in the Google machine, whether that be Minnesota 24/7, or head to the Twitter machine at Ryan Burns MN. Check it out. Again, Gopher basketball, Gopher football. We're just 43 days away from Eastern Illinois. It's We've waited a long time, man. I'm just glad.
We'll probably see you at the State Fair, right?
Oh, you'll see me at the State Fair.
Run through the schedule. Where do we find 10 wins and on the cusp of a playoff berth?
Absolutely.
It's a yearly tradition.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
I love the points that you made specifically about the quarterback spot. Speaking of the quarterback, here he comes. Good seeing you.
I appreciate you.
That's Bo Hunting Burnsy. He's Ryan Burns. Gopher Illustrated at Ryan Burns MN. Is how you can follow him via X. And joining us very shortly is Drake Lindsey, quarterback for the Golden Gophers football team. As the Con shared earlier, PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers, will join us within the next 35 minutes. Also, Mike Grimm, the Vox, calling the games on the radio. Mike Grimm about 10:15. Wide receiver Jalen Smith at 11 o'clock. And Anthony Smith in those 12.5 sacks. He'll be joining us at about 11:30. We have some non-Gophers football related items to be shared during the course of the 9 to noon presentation from the Gibson Nagurski complex in Minneapolis. It's adjacent to Huntington Bank Stadium, and like Bo Hunter said, 43 days from now, the Golden Gophers will start the season, and then I believe it's who do they start with? Eastern. Who's
for the Gophers?
Yeah,
Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois. Then they roll into Mississippi State.
So Drake's so multi-talented, by the way, that he's currently teaching Ryan Burns his swing technique. You got to keep your back straight. No movement.
Yeah, he might want to get with Burnsy's haircut person. Teach him the art of a straight line. How you doing, man? Good to see you. You know I'm playing with you, Bo and Burns. Come on, sit down here. We're going to marathon this first segment thanks to Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com if you're looking to save money on appliances and cook like the anticipation and expectations are for Drake Lindsey this year for the Gophers. Go to stevesappliances.com, stevesappliances.com. Drake Lindsey, Paul Allen, Eric Nordquist, engineer J-Dub here. What's it like being quarterback for the Golden Gophers football team?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing just to have this supporting cast. Got a lot of returning players, added a lot of great pieces. Have Coach Fleck support every single day, Coach Harbaugh, Keegan, added Coach Shula, who's been great. It's just a blessing to be here, truthfully. So I'm just honored to be the quarterback for sure.
When you're at this stage of the equation and you are basically a month and a half from it all changing, and that includes scholastically balancing it with film and practice and games and a lot of attention and social media and things like that. What's it like right now? I mean, it's because it's percolating right now, but I mean, it's about ready to go to a full boil.
Yeah, I think just focusing every single day is the biggest thing, like attacking, when it was January, attacking that, spring ball, attacking that, and then now it's been summer workouts, attacking those. And this is the time where, no one sees you, so I think it's, for players, it can be a challenging time because it's just June through July, but it's also our favorite time because we're away from everybody. It's just us. And like Coach Fleck says, it's a time for us to build the team and be a complete player-led team, which I think we've done a great job of, returning a lot of key players and a lot of leaders. So we're doing a really good job.
How difficult is it learning the playbook? And specifically the tentacles to the play. So you got the play, and then you got 5 things off of it or so on. Like when the game starts, the checks at the line obviously are super, super key for high-end performance. Then we get to turn in the back on the defense with play action, just all that kind of stuff. But I mean, when it comes to there being new plays compared to last year, but making them look like they did last year, but it's something new.
Yeah.
How difficult is that?
I think you get used to it, but like my freshman year, it was challenging when I first got here, but I got to see Max Brosmer do it, and that was the biggest, like I've talked about it so many times, but getting to see Max's process every single day. Because when I got here in January, I only knew the formations, and Max knew the whole offense.
Wow.
And it was he had learned it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was still picking things up, but he knew it so fast. And I was just amazed. So I was just staying by him. And I think now I've got to this point where obviously I'm still learning and developing every single day, but you start, seeing familiarity within the offense and seeing stuff on film with NFL stuff, our stuff, and it's super similar. And getting to learn from Coach Harbaugh and then also talk to Max and see what his verbiage is compared to mine, and just it's all really similar within our offense. And it's a testament to Coach Harbaugh for being able to teach all that at a high level.
Well, I mean, Max, former Gophers quarterback, currently a Vikings quarterback, had a couple of starts last year too. I know you guys are friends, and he would come to your games when they were at home. I think he brought Blake Cashman to a game or two. So, clearly he has taken an interest in you from a friendship standpoint, but calling games for the Vikings, when we were on the road, I ride the same bus as Max. In fact, I'm right there, like a row or two in front of him. Got to know him real well last year. Awesome guy. He's your biggest fan, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, we're not breaking down all 22 on a drive to MetLife Stadium, but I mean, like if you played on a Saturday and we're playing on a Sunday, I don't know if he's watching your all 22 or if I don't know what he's watching, man, but he puts a lot of time into your game.
Yeah. I think it was just how similar we were inside the building, that he really was able to, invest in me, because I obviously had the same interests as him. I'm off the field, we're a little different, but we got along really, really well. We spent a lot of time together inside and outside of the building. Like, that was my best friend. He still is one of my best friends, but like my freshman year, that was like, I want to go get food, I'm asking Max. I want to do this, I'm asking Max. Like, we were always together. And I really do appreciate him a ton, because he still, checks in when he sees something on film, because he'll look at stuff. He's like, hey, don't do this, do that. Like, and it makes sense to me, because we were able to think on the same page even when we were here. The thing that I respected so much about Max was, like, he listened to me as a freshman. If I saw something on the field after the drive, I'd be like, hey, like, I saw that, and he would be like, oh yeah, it was super easy to talk with him and have dialogue. And that's what I really appreciated, was he made me feel wanted as a true freshman when he was a 6-year senior and was 24 and I was 18, which not a lot of guys do. So that was really a big growth for me.
You know Tanner Morgan at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, those are not only two of the kindest people you're going to meet. They have no agenda. It's not like they're trying to, hey, I'm going to invest in Drake Lindsey early, and then he goes to the pros and forget the NIL. I'm going to get some of that signing bonus, for helping him. They genuinely care.
100%.
And I was texting with Tanner a little bit yesterday about you, and I could just tell. I didn't know how close you guys were, but he's just a very big fan of your game. And, I think it's also interesting looking at it from afar, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but, PJ Fleck this will be his 10th year. So this will be your second year together. So let's say the previous 7 or 8. Well, I mean, for PJ, with the style of team he had, then, I mean, he'd chew on the clock as much as anybody I've seen. Shoot, he'd run it 50 times a game if he had the opportunity. Well, then you rolled along. And there's more. So the time of possession last year wasn't as good as it had been the previous years, but the explosive nature of the offense got better.
Yeah.
So there's a segue taking place here with this pro-style offense, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. But, I think we're still Minnesota at the end of the day. We're going to run the ball, play action, do all those kind of things, which, I think when you have a good run game, it opens up everything. And I think we're going to do a really good job of that this year. Behind the O-line, I think we've improved a lot at every single position. So I'm excited to see it.
Drake Lindsey, quarterback for the Golden Gophers football team, 9 to noon. We're in Minneapolis. It's a Golden Gophers football media day. And we thank Paul Rovnak and everybody with the football program for really setting up 9 to noon today. We're beginning with the quarterback. That's super cool. This an overall question about the team. Your guys' pass rush. I mean, it could be one of the better 4 or 5 deep pass rushes in the entire Big Ten, right?
100%, yeah. And it was different this spring. Just seeing, like, they were getting back there, and our O-line did a good job too. But I mean, they were really good. It's deep too. I mean, we added T.J. Bush, got Carter Mins back, and Naquan Crowder inside.
Yep,
Jackson Howard. It's just like, it's deep. It's really deep this year, which I haven't really seen. My freshman year was pretty deep too, but this year it's really similar. So I'm excited to see that.
Anybody, I don't know if you spend Thanksgiving at home because you guys are all wrapped up in football and stuff, but Thanksgiving meals or when you get together with family, anybody still harboring, or did anybody ever harbor any ill will? You're in Minnesota. Everybody else played it in Arkansas, including you from Fayetteville, right?
Yep.
Any ill will that, shoot, Drake's going to stay. He's going to stay at Minnesota. You know what I mean? Anybody tease you about that?
Yeah, I feel like when I go home, people always bring things up, but, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm truly blessed to be here. I wouldn't change it if I could.
What's high school football like in Arkansas? Does it compare at all to Texas?
I wouldn't say it compares to Texas. I don't think it's not as deep. I played the highest classification, so like the top 4 or 5 teams were pretty good. It was always usually the same 4 or 5, 6 teams in the semis, quarters, and then state was before we won my senior year. Bryant out of down by Little Rock, Arkansas, had won 6 straight state championships, and then they won 2 in a row after us. So they've won 8 out of the last 9.
Right.
So it's been pretty intense down there.
When you have the gift of arm strength like you do, what hurdles do you have to overcome? And what I mean is, do you ever have to hold back because you swear you can complete every throw? You're accurate. Your arm is strong. But, defensive coordinators, they'll recognize things too, and they'll try to get you to take the cheese. on some things with the big arm. Know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think it comes down to being on time, too. I feel like when I'm on time, I definitely feel like I'm comfortable making any throw. But if I'm late or something happens within the pocket, I'm definitely going to, you know, not feel as comfortable, attempt to get to my check down. Just because, you know, when Coach Harbaugh always says, don't make a bad play worse, and when the play's messed up or something happens within the play that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, find your check down, get to the next play. Let's see the next play.
Right, and that's so key what you said, because I mean, how am I going to put this? Quarterbacks generally don't prefer to take the check down.
Yeah.
But sometimes discretion is the better part of valor.
100%.
And it's the live to play another down, right?
Yep.
Just a couple here to close for Drake Lindsey, quarterback for the Golden Gophers football team. What, if anything, is challenging for young quarterbacks making plays middle of the field? And here's what I mean. There are young NFL quarterbacks still trying to master the art of attacking the middle of the field between the hash marks and getting big hitters with players on the run. Know what I mean? Like, what's challenging with that?
Yeah, you know, I think especially when you're going under center and you're turning your back to the defense, you have to diagnose it. Like right when you get the ball hits your hands, you got to diagnose with the safeties. You know, being able to look at the safeties before you're turning your back and have an idea of the coverage. And then once you turn your back, you know, being able to see the linebackers where they're dropping, feel that. Because I think especially when you're throwing digs, all those kind of stuff, you have to have really good spatial awareness, especially when you're under center. It definitely makes it a different part of the game. And I mean, we've been doing it since my freshman year, so it's definitely it's super helpful to be able to do that in the college level. But it's definitely challenging. You know, I think you have to have really good spatial awareness, have a really good feel with your eyes, and be able to diagnose and see the coverage. And it comes down to film study Monday through Friday. Like Coach Harbaugh always has told me, you're not going to win the game Saturday. You're going to win it Monday through Friday. Yeah. And that's what I learned through Max, and that's what I've learned through Coach Harbaugh.
That's an awesome answer. The NIL world, is it distracting at all? And here's what I mean. Okay, it's not my business to know, you know, NIL wise what you get, but as a quarterback coming off the season you had, let's say it's a pretty good number. So that's cool. You've earned it. And that, you know, that's what somebody or entities are choosing to give you. But when you get in the locker room, does it ever get weird? Know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, but no, honestly, it doesn't. With our team, I feel like last year and previous years, it can come up, but I feel like this team this year has been super, super mature. I mean, we got a lot of returning guys that have played football, added guys that have played football. The freshman class has done a really good job just, you know, trusting the process, sticking with the older guys. And it really hasn't came up. I feel like more of the talks that come up are like, you know, should I get a financial advisor? Those kind of things, more so than I make money, like that kind of thing. It's honestly been a really mature team with those kind of talks. It's more so getting help compared to comparing numbers. Which
but
I
it's
think
weird, isn't it?
It definitely is. I think when I came to college, I was just happy that I was on scholarship, and then all this NIL and revenue sharing starts coming up, and it's a completely different world, and it definitely feels more like the pros inside the building, but you also have to understand that we're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old within the building, and it's still college. You have to have that camaraderie, you know, being with your teammates off the field more compared to the pros where they have families and all those kind of things.
Yeah. Last one. When you were growing up in Fayetteville, or you were, you know, wanting to become a quarterback, who are some quarterbacks you admired? Like when you and your family, you and your friends were out there just messing around, like who did you pretend you were? Outside of the three-quarters release, like when I watch some of your stuff, I'm like Phillip Rivers. Yeah. You know, he's just kind of big, like, but not Roethlisberger big, but Rivers big, but he doesn't have the three-quarters release.
Yeah. I think, like, deep down I always wanted to be like Cam Newton out there. I wasn't as fast as him, but that was always like a cool guy to watch, like 2015, 2014, in those years. But, I mean, like Tom Brady, Peyton and Eli, those were just like, it was spectacular. I think we all wanted to do the Odell growing up, which was everyone called the Odell when he made that one-handed catch. But it was definitely fun growing up, doing all those things.
I appreciate meeting you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Let's stay in touch.
Oh, yeah.
And best of luck to you this season, all right?
I appreciate it.
Drake Lindsey, quarterback for the Golden Gophers football team, and 9 to noon is in the air from the Gibson-Nagurski complex in Minneapolis. Nordo produces, and I'm Paul Allen, and we're back after this.
Before we go, the fan at BigDeck.com, I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks to the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com, the keyword bank. The keyword bank, KFAN.com, keyword bank.
It's PA.
Remember one thing, football's entertainment. It's not life.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. It's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. 10 are keywords, and to learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
That was terrific. What an impressive young man, Drake Lindsey. And it's like I shared with him about 20 minutes ago, with traveling with the Vikings and riding on the same bus with Max Brosmer to games.
Yeah.
There's so many times last year that like Max would be 3 rows behind myself, Thielen and/or Spearfish, and then you would just hear him say like, "All right, Drake." All right, Drake, or come on, Drake. So I think he was watching the All-22 the day after games, and it's Drake is a little more soft-spoken than Max Brosmer. I can tell they're both very, very smart. Max Brosmer is one of the smarter football players that I've met in quite some time, but that relationship is cool. That arm is big. It's just it's there. I started thinking about it last night. When you started to let me know what was coming today, and so I'm reading up on the Big Ten and a bunch of Golden Gophers football stuff, and man, it's beating the proverbial dead horse. But the NIL transfer portal thing, it's such a strange conversation because it specifically with the NIL. If somebody wants to compensate you for a Division I football team that is bringing in whatever it's bringing in, a lot of money via TV deals and everything that goes into being a Big Ten or a big time football team, a Division I football team. Okay, so the NIL world, I think I've wrapped my mind around more and accepted more than the transfer portal portion of the equation, where it's a double-edged sword for me, because if somebody wants to leave, they should have the ability to leave. But they're one of the 2 kickers that they roster. My man started at Texas State, didn't work out, went to Michigan, and he just was the kickoff specialist, I think, maybe got a couple of tries. Well, now he's here. Yeah. So it's the free agency of college sports that it's just difficult to wrap my mind around, where when you come across a player like Anthony Smith, who's going to join the radio show in 2 hours. I mean, he's a senior. He's probably going to be drafted in the first or second round of the 2027 draft. He's 6'6", 17.5 tackles for loss last year. And
I'm excited to see him in person.
He was a menacing presence. He was a menacing presence. But it's whether it's against the rules or not. It's to a man, 10 of 10. Yeah. Whatever the best teams are in the country, let's say Ohio State, or I don't know if IU is going to be good again, like it's been the last couple of years. The Miami Hurricanes were good last year, but that was what's going on. But that had a little out of nowhere to it, at least from Kane's teams over the last 15 years. Clemson, Georgia, all the right names, or Oregon with Coy Parrish. But you know that somebody has to say to somebody under the cover of darkness, dog, like talking to an Asian dog. I mean, come here. You're going to start. You're going to play all the snaps. Yeah. You're going to be on television more, and it's only going to help your draft status to play here and play in the potentially in the Final Four or the big tournament they have at the end of the year. So, therefore, those who are like, no, I'm going to stay, at quite honestly, with respect, and that's another facet of Gophers football that's just kind of difficult to wrap my mind around, because PJ's won a lot of games and never has lost a ball game. But the team has been good to very good at times. Like in 2019, it was a very good football team. Yep. But when you come into a season, I just wonder what the expectations are, right, because you're not going to win the Big Ten.
There's 4 teams in the conference that could potentially win. Right. And you go in knowing that.
Yeah. And for me to flippantly say you're not going to do something is not fair, because they have a quarterback, they have a defense. So, yeah, if I got the right offensive line if I got the right defensive line and I got the right quarterback, then nobody can tell me what I can or can't do.
Sure.
Because you can ascend past whatever people think the mean will be. The kid we just had on, Lindsey, I mean, if he blows up this year, and this they got a nice receiver in the portal, I think from Auburn that they like. They got Jalen Smith, who's going to join the show later. They got a couple of tight ends that I believe they like. So, if that all works on a weekly basis and the defensive line with a veteran secondary or an experienced secondary becomes menacing and the quarterback has gone from good to very good at times to next level.
Yeah.
Shoot, I mean, you could upset some blue bloods, man.
Well, you absolutely could. And Indiana, I mean, that's a super high-end example, but you think as they emerge from obscurity with Cignetti, and I'm trying to think, I think it was James Madison. He's bringing over a bunch of 2 and 3 stars.
Well, it was Mark Cuban.
But 2 and 3 stars that knew each other.
Yeah, Mark Cuban and that NIL money, man. That changed the whole thing.
A handful of million doesn't hurt. But getting to the NIL part of it, the expectations, we'll get into that many times throughout the summer, and I'm mostly with you, but I was talking with Burns last week, kind of on the expectation side, like how do you fight the resignation of it's Ohio State, it's Michigan, it's Oregon. This Big Ten, by the way, no joke, 3 consecutive national championships coming out of the conference.
Jeez,
with Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana. And Oregon is right up there ready to make it 4 different Big Ten teams hoisting the trophy. So the potential is there. But, the NIL conversation, it simultaneously feels like we talk about it too much. But then when you had Drake down and we're talking about it, it just kind of reinvigorates my fascination with it because, we want to romanticize that these kids are coming here and, they're going to school and they're getting this terrific education, which many of them are, right? And academic All-Americans up and down the board. It's a consistency with PJ's program. College football is a big business. And we want to think like, they're just 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. We simultaneously want them to get the money, but then also somehow protect them from the realities of what that money brings.
Yeah.
And so when he's talking about, it's not about like, hey, you got XYZ endorsement, I got all these endorsements. It's not the contest like that. It's like, who's your financial advisor? I mean, that was the obvious and unavoidable evolution, I think, to making sure that these kids are getting a piece of it. Because the university and these football programs across the country are not romanticizing it. They're cashing checks, and they're building huge buildings, and they are making a ton of money off of this. And so the support behind the players reaping the benefits of it, I think it's necessary, and I think it's awesome. And sometimes it makes these kids grow up quick, but in the end, the NIL part, the portal, the pre-portal, I mean, my goodness,
the pre-portal,
wrapping my head around all this stuff that's going on. It feels so complicated, but in the end, this kid is going to get himself in the weight room, and he's been working all summer with the chance to put W's on the board for our favorite college team, and that can then in the end remain our main focus as we follow it.
Golden Gophers football coach PJ Fleck joins 9 to noon next.
It's PA.
What's going on there, brother?
How you doing? Great to see you.
Thanks for having us here.
Thanks for your time.
Your quarterback is very enjoyable to chat with,
isn't he?
And it's the first time I've met him, and I watched him last year. And as I told him, traveling with the Vikings, the bus that I'm on, Max Brosmer's on the same bus, so I got to know Max incredibly well. And Max can be, as you would know better than all of us, can be quite chatty. But Max has taken such a liking to Drake that, whether it was a good game or a bad game, he would be watching back either clips or the game, if we're on the road, that he didn't get a chance to see, strictly to watch Drake. And, then when you talk to Drake about either Brosmer or, the importance of a young quarterback embracing the middle of the field, not being afraid of the ghosts and things like that, and some of the challenging things for a young quarterback. His answers they were just unique. He's very, very smart, isn't he?
He's incredibly intelligent, and I think Max deserves a lot of the credit for that too, because the reason we brought Max into this program was we brought Drake in as a true freshman, knew he wasn't going to be ready just yet. So part of Max, one, winning games for us and then taking us forward in our program, but it was also to mentor Drake. And we knew that choice of quarterback that we were going to take not only helped us in that season, but was truly going to define the rest of our tenure as we continue to go forward with Drake Lindsey. And so I think Mac took that very seriously. And I think Mac deserves a lot of credit for how much he actually loves football. I mean, he is all ball all the time. Now, he's very eclectic, as you know. He likes a lot of different things.
Yeah, he's very smart.
But he's very intelligent. And he loves ball. He loves the grind. He loves the film room. He loves everything that has to do with playing quarterback. And I think that rubbed off on Drake that first year when he had Max. And it's a credit to Max Brosmer of giving that knowledge, and then credit to Drake for being the sponge.
Well, being the head coach of a team, you have so many things about which that you worry would be too strong, but on which you have to focus. And a lot of it would be who's in my quarterback's ear, like from the outside. So it's like if I were to say, potentially the two most prominent voices in his ear, your quarterback's ear, between games or at a time like now, Max Brosmer and Tanner Morgan, that's not a bad thing, right?
It's really not a bad thing at all. Tanner playing for us for 6 years the way he did, not only just the X's and O piece, but the cultural piece. And then having Max Brosmer be in the NFL system that we have, playing for Greg Harbaugh, the same offensive coordinator that Drake plays for, being the NFL system similar to a Viking system where they can talk language and it's very, very similar. They can talk philosophy, they can talk concepts, run game, pass game, and it's all the same. And I think that carryover helps Drake continue to develop because you're right. Who's in his ear is very important. But those two former players, incredibly important. Greg Harbaugh, incredibly important. Coach Keegan O'Hara, our quarterback coach, very important. Mike Shula, who we brought in, very important with a ton of NFL experience. So he's got a lot of people in his ear, but one thing I'll say, it's the same message. Yeah. And the messages are similar. You're not getting 5 to 6 different messages, which I think can really take a quarterback and put him backwards if you have that. And I think he's got the same message moving forward.
How do you get such a well-respected NFL or football mind like Mike Shula? And when I say to come here, it doesn't mean like, he's coming to, he's like some boll weevil, coming to the middle of nowhere. But I mean, that's a really nice move. How does that happen?
Well, the hardest part was the Minnesota weather, because he spent a lot of his time in the South and a lot of time in really nice weather or out west. So, it was in the wintertime, so him and I had 2 days together, and that was part of the interview, was just bring him up and talk to him a little bit about it, because he's technically still under contract with another team. So he really didn't have to work, but he loves ball, wanted to be a part of something special, wanted to invest in a quarterback and a system and a staff where he could add value. This isn't making cards and making copies and doing reports. This is coaching. Yeah. And we wanted to bring in somebody that was really going to help our offense, give a completely different take on certain things, and not be afraid to speak up. And bringing somebody in with Mike Shula's respect and what he's done with his resume and the type of person he is was a grand slam home run for us. And I'm just really thankful that he took a chance on Minnesota and came out here, because I hopefully think both ways it's been a really good relationship, and both sides have learned an awful lot.
And PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team, 9 to noon. We're in Minneapolis, Gophers Football Media Day. For me, the most surprising thing in looking back at some of the minutia from your year last year, and I didn't go through the statistical wherewithal of the last 5 years to look at third downs inside the 20, how much are we running inside the 20, stuff like that. It was time of possession. I looked at it, I'm like, who are you, PJ? It was 29 minutes a game. I mean, so what leads to that? 29 minutes a game, generally speaking, is pretty good, but you're like a 33, 34, 35 kind of guy.
Yeah, one, we had some young guys up front. Two, Darius Taylor, was hurt for part of the year. We want to be able to run the football, but I think that what you have to do is you got to find ways to win games any way you possibly can. Yep. And I think what the good signs of a really good program is you can win any way possible, whether you have to throw it, whether you have to run it. And you learn that throughout the course of your tenure and your career. But I would love to be able to be 50-50, running the football, having success, setting up the play-action pass game and the throw game. Last year was a little caveat. It was very different than what we've done, and we had to win very differently. But when you look back on it, I'm kind of glad we had to win that way because, we were 7-0 at home. We didn't win any games on the road, but you had a freshman quarterback who we relied on his arm to go win games.
Wow.
And he's got a lot of years ahead.
Wow.
And if we didn't do that, and it was more of the run game with the same record, maybe we'd be having more questions about our pass game this year, where I think we've taken a huge step in the pass game. We know the running game's way better, and we can put all those together. But the experience that Drake had last year, and we had to rely on that arm, and then obviously his feet at Michigan State with the overtime scramble and touchdown and the run for the 2-point conversion to win it. But I think he learned a lot and put a lot on his plate for a freshman, and he's only going to be better for it.
So with Drake Lindsey, you correct me if I'm wrong here, you have a true pro-style quarterback. You can put on a 5 or 7-step drop with a nice running back. You got a quarterback who can turn his back on defenses, or at least he's learning to. That's vital, don't you think?
It's absolutely huge. Now, the problem, though, is he just ran 20.56 miles per hour, according to the Catapult yesterday.
What?
So he thinks he's a running quarterback all of a sudden because he comes in and shows me, you know how fast I ran yesterday? I was like, I don't know how fast you ran. The report says how fast you ran. Just throw the football where it needs to be because I think I can run some more this year. I'm 20.5 miles an hour, which at 6'5", 240 pounds, is pretty fast for that type of athlete. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, but now that he had the scramble at Michigan State for the 2-point conversion, now he's got this speed thing, and you can just hear in his voice like, when the quarterback runs starting to be added to the offense. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that.
Do you bootleg a lot with him?
We do.
Yeah.
And I think last year, his body has changed so much from last year to this year. He's stronger. He's more flexible. He's more mobile. He knows the system way better. I think just naturally his body's matured. Heather showed me a picture when we were sitting at home yesterday. It was when Drake committed versus where he is now. It looks like a completely different kid. If I told you that kid in the picture was our quarterback, you'd say you have no chance.
He was skinnier?
Everything. Just looks like a baby. Looks like a kid. And, had that little bit of baby fat on him and just looked like a little happy-go-lucky kid.
Yeah.
He looks like a grown man now and gives you more Ben Roethlisberger vibes when you're around him. So, we're really, really proud of his progress and what he's done in the offseason and really matured, not only just in the physical part, but the mental and emotional piece and as a leader as well.
With the transfers you brought in, and I don't look yearly at your squad or other squads to see, hey, they're filling holes or they're upgrading. So like with college football free agency with the portal, you look to upgrade, of course. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was a lot of upgrading that you guys did. Wide receiver Perry Thompson caught my eye. The defensive tackle Naquan Crowder, I believe. If that thing works with that defensive line, holy cow! But is that fair to say that you upgraded in some key spots via the portal?
Yeah, T.J. Bush coming over from Cal. If you can't beat him, join him, and that was a big piece for us. I can go on, but. We're still a developmental program, and the cultural sustainability of what we've been able to do in 10 years is a direct byproduct of being really good at recruiting high school student athletes. 31 of our recruits coming in of our 50 new players. Remember, we have 50 new players. Half our team is
6
new.
quarterbacks.
It's incredible. Now, you're only allowed to have around that 105 roster. It's not there yet, but we're about 112, which most teams in the Big Ten are going to be between that 112 and 120 mark.
You have 112 players?
Yes, the old 180 players on some people's roster, those are gone. So everybody, it's more like an NFL team, not with the 53-man roster, but each position, you're only allowed so many people per room. And you really got to make sure as we dwindle down to the 105, you better be right on the people you bring into the room.
Yeah.
If you're going to have 5 quarterbacks, then those 5 quarterbacks better be able to play.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit more of an NFL feel when you're building your roster.
Yeah.
But 31 high school players, 19 transfers. We're talking 50 new players on this football team, and we have really good retention rate. So think about people who are turning over 80 new players, 70 new players. It's that kind of one-year go-win mentality that you have to have. But you're also still building for the future. You can still do that. It's just changed a little bit in the way you have to go about it. Where some people have just gone all in on, hey, we'll bring in 70, 80 new players a year. That's fine, just like an NFL roster. But we are still cultural sustainability, developmental program, all 4 areas of your life. We just had to adapt the way we do it a little bit.
But and you've said that, PJ's nice enough to join 9 to noon Mondays, really for almost his entire run here. Into your 10th year here, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've heard you say that, and I've read it a bunch of times. And, okay, I understand what you're saying, given the university, the NIL, just the lot in life. I understand that, and I respect it. And I'm in no way disrespecting the program at all when I say this. This is a sneaky team this year because of your quarterback, because in my opinion, your defensive line, your running back, and experience in your secondary. So, I mean, if you can keep all those things healthy and the quarterback not only takes a leap, but takes a big leap, well, then who knows? I mean, I'm not saying national championship, but I'm saying that you can make life difficult for some blue blood, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what's exciting about the Big Ten, and I think all 18 teams at this point feel the same way that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
this is different this year.
But that's so fun about late July. I don't disagree with you. I think we're a really good football team. And people are going to say what they're going to say from the outside. We keep everything internally. We believe what we believe. Mm-hmm. That's why we have our Purpose 3 that we're going to focus on. The attention that we're going to focus on is on ourselves. And let everybody else say what they're going to say. But when you even look at the linebacker position, we might be deeper at linebacker than we've ever been.
Wow.
And those are the bodies you want to be deep in, whether it's special teams, whether it's linebacker. And we didn't even talk about the growth of our wide receivers.
Yep.
We have some young freshmen that are dynamic players that no one even knows their name yet, let alone what number they're going to wear. Yes.
And they'll play?
There are some that will.
Wow.
So it's
That's
a
great.
fun group. Jalen Smith, who was a freshman last year, who was the MVP of our bowl game, he's back. He's been a captain. And when you got a sophomore receiver being voted captain, and he had the season he had, and him having the offseason he had, and then you look at the depth we have, it's really optimistic and fun. And I think you want to have that each and every year. I think some people have that, some people don't. But at the end of the day, I mean, I feel really good about our football team. It's pretty cool, too. I think we're one of the only Big Ten team that returns their head football coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and the starting quarterback.
That's key.
Think about that statement. One of 18 teams. We're the only team in the Big Ten. So when you're talking about that sustainability, that cultural sustainability, bringing guys back, we kind of like where we're at.
Yep.
You know, and we're really proud of it. That's for sure.
Does this have the potential? You know, whether it's Jackson Howard, Anthony Smith, the Cal transfer, so on and so on. Does this have the potential to be the deepest and best defensive line group you've had since you've been here?
Has a chance.
Right.
You know, as you said, you got to stay healthy. We got to continue to find out about some young guys that might help us. I'm talking even some freshmen. Remember, our talent of recruiting freshmen has even gone up. We're getting a different person and a player than we did 5-6 years ago across the board, not just at one position. So if our defensive line can take a huge jump, we got a chance to be really good up front, not only at the D-line but the front seven, and feel really good about the experience we have on the back end. But everybody else is getting a better quality player too, and the teams that we're going to play. So it's really
But they
hard.
may have new coordinators.
So
therefore, now you got a new system, and you got the school. You got to figure out the playbook and everything.
As you know, it's really hard to win.
Yeah.
Put it this way: there's 7 of 18 Big Ten teams that have had back-to-back 8-win seasons. 8 plus back-to-back 8 wins. That's it.
Yeah.
We're one of the 7. But 7 out of 18 went back-to-back 8 or more wins.
Yeah.
That's how hard it is to win in this league.
Yeah.
So we're talking about being an elite league, one of the best leagues in the country, 3-time, 3 in a row national championships from 3 different teams, plus those types of statistics I just threw out, 9 conference games. I mean, it's a heck of a conference.
Lastly, because I know you're quite fond of him, is this Mo Ibrahim's first year as your running backs coach?
It is. He was the assistant running back coach last year.
That's fantastic.
He's unbelievable. I'm telling you, PA, the sky's the limit for his career. He is perfect for what we do, how we do it, understanding the culture. Our running backs have taken the biggest leap out of anybody, maybe on the entire football team. And it's because his tutelage, his coaching style, the relatability he has to his players. We've got some young players that are very, very talented. Again, keep talking about this freshman class, which is fantastic. We're going to have some freshman running backs that are going to be on that field too, and it's because of their development through Muhammad. But to have the all-time leading rusher at the University of Minnesota back in that room and truly teaching our running backs, I think the world of them.
That was phenomenal. See you at the State Fair, okay?
Look forward to it, guys. Roll the boat, Sky. Go Gophers.
And
Skull Vikes.
Yeah, well, that's just how you end our conversations. We appreciate. Hey, Paul Rovnak, thank you very much. PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team. Back after this.
It's PA.